Welcome to my deck profile on Galaxy Eyes. It's been a childhood favourite deck of mine for many years now, and the experience in the TCG currently mainly consists of.
Okay, so now I will normal summon Galaxy Knight due to its effect. I don't have to tribute, and I will get to revive a Galaxy Eyes from my graveyard. With that, we can then make our number 90 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord. Okay, one negate down. Only two more to go. Wait. Where the fuck did my negates go? Who even plays this anymore?
So yeah, Galaxy Eyes and TCG is very lackluster. It loses to one interruption pretty much, and even without interruptions, its end boards are very mediocre, losing to a single board breaker. However, there is new support, which means it loses to two interruptions. But in all seriousness, the new support coming for Galaxy Eyes really does strengthen the deck. Maybe not to a competitive level I'd like it to be at, but it is certainly a big contender in terms of your opponent not reading cards and then just getting OTK'd out of the blue. So, yeah, as I've just described, Galaxy Eyes is a deck that mainly consists of big bungus dragons with a couple of negates put on the side for going first. And I'll give you a rundown of the cards and what they do before we get into some duels. So Afterglow Dragon, it's a free 8 and it will enable your OTK by doubling your Xyz monster attack points. Galaxy Eyes, bad card itself, but it needs to be played because a lot of cards revolve around it, and it's so easy to get out on the board due to some of their effects. Galaxy Knight is a reborn for Galaxy Eyes, and it's not a hard once per turn. So you can, if you have two Galaxy Eyes engraved and you somehow get two Galaxy Knights, you're bringing two back. But yeah, it's also another 8 because it can be normal summon without tributing if you control the Galaxy Eyes monster. And the normal summon is important because Photon Emperor, a new piece of support, gives you an extra normal if it's sent to the graveyard while you can control or have a Photon or Galaxy in your graveyard, which is massive for the deck. The second normal really helps them out. Galaxy Berry, free extender, it can level modulate to be whatever you want it to be, whether it be a 4 or an 8, and that has come in very useful. Hard once per turn, but I still think it's worth playing 2 because it can unbrick very bricky hands. Galaxy Soldier, well, that's just been a classic card in the deck for ages. Very good to search any Galaxy monster, gets a free body on board, and you can make Infinity with it if you have 2 on board, which isn't too difficult. Photon Vanisher, now you can run 2 of this card, however I've decided to run 3 due to the new rank 4s. And it's a free body on board for Link or Xyz material, and it searches you a Galaxy Eyes, which is very good, especially if you want to be pitching it with something like Galaxy Soldier or Trading. Galaxy Summoner, another new piece of support, very good, it gets you a rank 4, essentially, but it can reborn something. That's where the second normal is important, because then you can do this card as well. And it can also level modulate a light monster, for example, if you've got a Galaxy Soldier on field that you don't want to be level 5 because you're not making Infinity, you can make it level 4 to go for your rank 4s. Also note that it targets Photon Galaxy, it can be an Xyz monster, so you can bring up one of your Xyz monsters. Photon Advancer is just a extender, this is more of a flex slot than anything else, but I've decided to put it in for now. Photon Orbital just searches any monster, pretty good, and its effect equip from hand is not a hard once, it's not even a once per turn, you can just equip it from hand, so yeah, make note of that. Galaxy Wizard, search any Galaxy card, it can also make itself level 8. It's just come up a lot, and also searching any Galaxy card. This was the deck's previous only way to search any spell cards, because we didn't have any. However, now we have Photon Jumper, which when sent to the graveyard from anywhere, it will just search a Galaxy or Photon spell and trap directly from your deck to your hand, which is amazing. It also has a Battle Fader-like effect, which has come up, believe it or not. Photon Sanctuary just gives you 2 tokens, locks you into light, but that doesn't really matter for the deck because everything's light. And this is a very good card in terms of it makes you link plays, whether it be Soul Flare to bring back a card or Ahashima for an Xyz play. Trading now. Trading I've found is very good in the deck because discarding both Photon Emperor and Galaxy Eyes itself feels so good. And it also helps you get into your sideboard games 2 and 3, which is very useful. So it's worked for me, so I'm running it in this deck. Galaxy Expedition just gets you a level 5 or higher Photon on Galaxy, which is, well, that's self-explanatory. Very good. Galaxy Trance, it can summon a Photon monster from your grave and a Galaxy from your deck with the same level. Now, note it has to be Photon, and the other one has to be Galaxy, so there are things that come up there. But, and essentially, it just gives you a free rank 8, which will usually be your OTK play. From this card, you'll search it for follow-up. But it does lock you into Photon or Galaxy, so you cannot go Infinity or Hashima when you use this card. Upstart to make it a 39 card deck. Last Hope Numbers, another piece of great follow-up if Galaxy Trance is in your hand, and vice versa. And it just gets you a rank 8 essentially, as long as you have 2 monsters with the same level. It has to be a number that's summoned though, so just be aware of that. Called by the Grave, because no, I don't want to be ashed, thank you. And Galaxy 100, now previously I was on one of this or 0, I can't remember. But now with Photon Jumper being a thing, I've put this to 3, because previously all it could really do is bury all the Galaxy Eyes or an Emperor, but now that Photon Jumper is a thing, it's suddenly become a whole lot more powerful, and its banishing effect is very useful, because at the very least you get to see what your opponent's on, even if the banish isn't impactful. So as for the extra deck, we got Cypher Blade, which you can rank up on any rank 8 to pop, and then just once per turn detached to pop. And it revives the Galaxy Eyes Cypher Dragon when it's destroyed, so you'd usually make it over a Cypher Dragon, but first you use that Cypher Dragon to make Galaxy Eyes Full Armor Photon Dragon, which is another pop, but this is only for face-up cards. Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, this was our previous win con in the TCG, and it still is until February. It just gets big, it gets very big. However, now we have even bigger Neo Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon. It has a Towers-like effect that only applies to monsters. It can make 3 attacks, and if you're using Afterglow, it will get very big, attack 3 times. And generally, I've found that a lot of decks struggle to out this game 1. You have to side in some spell trap removal, because what Telements don't. They run Crime and Sulliek, sure. If they don't get any of those, what do they do about this? Cypher Dragon, you can take control of opponent's monster, but usually you'll just be ranking it up because you can't attack except with Cypher Dragon in turn use that effect. Hope Harbinger, it's a spell negate, self-explanatory really. Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, it is a negate and it's also a search every opponent's turn, very powerful. Because if you're going first, which you hopefully will be, then you can search Photon Jumper and you've searched a Battle Fader essentially to protect your board if your opponent does somehow break through all your negates, which is probable. Then Infinity Nova package, pretty self-explanatory, just make it with Soldier if you can. Galaxy Photon Dragon, another piece of support, which is essentially just a Rotor or a Foolish Burial, which is very good. It can search your spells as well. And this has been another very useful piece of support. It can level modulate, so if you have a soldier that you don't want to be level 5, you want it to be level 8 for some 8 plays, you can turn that into a level 8. Starliege Photon Blast Dragon, all your big bungsters cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. And it summons a photon from your hand when it's summoned. It's very funny when you make this with Galaxy Photon Dragon also on board, because it means nothing you control can be targeted by card effects or destroyed. 2 Soul Flare, it gets a card back from Graveyard. It can also be used for zone clearance, which does come up a fair amount, because sometimes your zones can get a bit busy. And then Ahashima for more Xyz extension if you need to. As for the side deck, we've got 2 Kaijus for going second against towers or big negate boards. Lancia, because we'll be going into Kashtira format, and that scares me. And Imperial Iron Wall just seems a bit too slow at the moment. Lightning Storm, because it's Lightning Storm, and Feather stuff for any spell and trap strategies, the same with a Cyclone. Talents, because if you're coming up against a deck that does interrupt you a lot, or you're going second, those extra cards or the knowledge can be very important, I feel. Dimensional Barrier, if you know your opponent's on a strategy such as Branded or Telements, you can lock them out of the fusions or Kashtira out of their Xyz. And then Gozen, because every card in this deck is light, there is not a single other card to be found. And some decks just simply cannot play through Gozen, Kashtira being one of them. So that's the deck, that's what it does. So game 1 we are up against Heroes, and I did not know this was in their hand when I was playing. So they've got a lot of stuff to interfere here. They've also got a currently dead Neospace, which is a it does some stuff. Our hand is literally just the default hand you can get in the TCG right now. I've seen this hand many a time myself, to be fair. But let's see. So activate Blade here, revealing Galaxy Eyes before we pitch Galaxy Eyes, which will then draw us 2 cards to activate Orbital equipping on. Then we'll use Orbital to search card from our deck. We'll then use Soldier, and then Soldier's effect to search. We'll grab a Galaxy Knight to bring up the Galaxy Eyes. We'll use Galaxy Knight here, bring back our Galaxy Eyes. Now, they should have made Nibiru before this. We're hitting Jumper. Jumper will search us Galaxy Expedition. Galaxy Expedition then summon from the deck Photon Emperor. We make an unnegate, Hope Harbinger, Titanic Galaxy. We'll go into Photon Sanctuary, give us 2 tokens. We will then link those off into a Soul Flare. Soul Flare will then go us back a Photon Jumper. They will negate with Imperm, which is a shame. We have no Battle Fader off of this, but the activate Nibiru here, we will negate with Photon Lord. And their turn. In the draw phase, we'll activate Photon Lord. They'll chain Super Poly, and we cannot negate with Harbinger. We'll activate Photon Emperor here to bring itself back, and we'll search Jumper off our Photon Lord to negate an attack. So they're grabbing a Poly, and they're grabbing a Spirit and Neos. We unfortunately cannot pop any of their stuff with Soul Flare, because we have only 1 card in hand. Then move towards battle, we'll activate Photon Jumper to use the Battle Fader effect. And the Arms Neos does not get its effect attribute to summon from extra deck, because it did not destroy a monster by battle. We'll add Galaxy Knight back to hand, and we'll get an Expedition. Expedition, grab Afterglow, make a Photon Lord. Galaxy Knight will then revive our Galaxy Eyes. We don't have a battle phase this turn, so we're just going to be destroying all their resource essentially. We'll go into full armor. We will then attempt to pop our Neos, which they'll protect with Neos Fusion. We'll go into Cypher Blade, and then we will pop our Neos successfully. We'll use the battle phase skip effect. We then search a card again. We'll search Galaxy Summoner. They'll attempt to activate Poly. We will chain Soul Flare because they only have 1 card in hand and a Mud Dragon, so they won't have enough fusion materials to resolve. Mud Dragon does nothing there, and that will be game. Ventura Scareclaw, for some reason running Illusion Chaos package. Fair enough. We are going first this time. I would have shown you the blind second against this, but our opponent disconnected, unfortunately, because that was going to be a really good matchup looking at our cards in our hand, because we drew the Kaiju and Lightning Storm. But yeah, so I'm going to show the going first against this deck, so we start with double Photon Sanctuary, Vanisher, Trade-In, and Jumper. We'll start off with Sanctuary, giving us 2 tokens. That means we can summon Vanisher. Vanisher can then search the Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. We'll then use Trade-In, pitching it to draw 2 cards. We have to now normal summon Jumper to go into Photon Dragon, detaching Jumper. We'll search Galaxy Soldier. We use Jumper's effect now to search Galaxy 100. Link Soul Flare. Soul Flare will grab us the Jumper back to hand. We use Soldier here, pitching Jumper to summon Soldier. Soldier will search this card, and then Galaxy Photon Dragon make it level 8. Then we'll use Galaxy Expedition to summon the Galaxy Brave from deck. Make Photon Lord to insulate against Nibiru. Then we'll use 100 to send Emperor, bring back Emperor. Galaxy Knight now with the extra normal, summon back our Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon. We get to banish a card from their extra deck. We'll banish Access Code. We'll make Hope Harbinger, spell negate, and we end on that and call bye. We'll use Photon Lord. They'll draw top deck a Bestial. We could have done with that last turn. We'll search Photon Jumper as a Battle Fader, and they'll activate Water Enchantress. They'll grab a Rite of Aramesir when they get Hope Harbinger. We don't want them getting to Wandering Griffin Rider. They'll use the Illusion of Chaos here. They should have saved. And they'll summon Magician Souls. Then they'll summon Astra. Then make Tri-Heart. Everything goes to defense. Tri-Heart will attempt to summon. We'll banish the target with Cool By so it doesn't resolve. Then Balone will make Lightheart for some reason. We will just use Hope Harbinger here to get Galaxy Knight in the graveyard for our play next turn. We will use Galaxy Photon Dragon. For some reason they'll shotgun Jerusalem. Do not know why. And we'll add a Galaxy Soldier to hand in case we need it. Soul Flare here, bring back Knight. We use Knight here to bring back Galaxy Eyes. Then we're 100 to banish another card. We'll banish the last Tri-Heart in their extra deck. We'll make our big boy. They will surrender. So all I can say about that is, 1, should have made Fenrir. 2, should have saved your Bestials, my friend. The final replay is against Telements. This is a game 2. Game 1, I just got out-resourced with Bestials turn 1, and yeah, Bestials do a lot to harm this strategy. That's one of the main weaknesses of playing it at the moment. And I also got Super Poly'd last game, which was what actually cost me the game. I would have won if they didn't have Super Poly. They have Super Poly again. They also have Keldo, Medora, and Perlarino. Their hand's pretty nuts, not going to lie, though we have got a fairly decent hand ourselves, though it is a bit janky. You have to use a normal summon to start getting anywhere with this hand, and Photon Emperor loses to Bestials so hard. But let's start. So Jumper, then use Orbital to equip, and use Orbital to search, Galaxy Soldier pitch Emperor, and then we'll get Soldier's effect to search and Emperor effect to summon. Vistuals will vanish the Emperor effect against summon. We do not get an extra normal now. So we're searching Afterglow. We use Magnemite for the end phase search. We use Soulflare to add back Jumper and Jumper search to us. So Galaxy Expedition will summon Afterglow from hand. Now because we have an Afterglow, we can use Expedition to summon Galaxy Eyes to our side of the field. We'll make a Photon Lord, and we'll end on Gozen and Called By. We're right. So we're going to in end phase. I'll activate Druid's Worm, targeting our card Engrave, and we're just going to negate with Lord because that means we can still play during the next turn. We don't want them having a Druid's Worm on board to send one of our cards to the graveyard. Then we use Afterglow, so it's using Material Tool to summon a Galaxy Eyes from our deck. They're going to activate Super Poly before we even get to search, which is great, because otherwise we could have searched and activated Gozen, which they couldn't have been able to do that. Pearl Rhino will have a Shiren. Activate Shiren here because they're under Gozen. Call by the Havnis. Medora will shuffle the Havnis and some other stuff back into the deck. And Pearl Rhino then pop the Gozen. They'll normal summon Keldo, they make a Bagooska and pass. So we got pretty much free reign from here, to be fair, on the Bagooska. So we use Soulflare here. Jumper to search as well. Soulflare will bring back our Jumper, and then Jumper will search as Galaxy Trance. Use Galaxy Trance, summon Galaxy Eyes and Afterglow. We'll make Prime, and then we'll make this, and then we'll activate Afterglow's effect to summon from deck. We will be over these two. Without activate Keldo here, shuffling 3 back into the deck, and that will proc Pearl Rhino, and it will destroy our Prime Photon Dragon. That's the weakness of this deck against here. Pearl Rhino has been the only thing that's managed to kill it. They've drawn Talents, pretty dead. And then we draw for turn, we draw a Summoner, and we can't make lethal this turn with what's left in our extra deck. But we're going to go Soldier Jumper effect. We'll add a Soldier, and then we'll Soldier pick Summoner. Then we're going Nova Infinity. And we'll activate Expedition, summoning from deck. And we can Photon Lord. Then we'll suck up the Magnemite and we'll go towards battle. And they'll draw a Kelvek. And that'll be game. Okay, so my final thoughts on the deck as it stands currently is... It's good, it could be better. It struggles to deal with interruptions, because on paper it's good, it can make multiple negates. When you come down to actually playing against other people, though, you quickly see that illusion falling away. Bestials and other things, as Nibiru, when you haven't made a negate yet, because sometimes your pass are awkward, they all do massive amounts to harm the strategy. Bestial banishing Photon Emperor can do a lot to harm it, because you need that second normal to really extend and show its worth. And also the Ishizu Fairy stuff has been shown to interfere with it a lot, even though it may not come up in the replays. I think, personally, it's not quite Rogue. Actually, there's nowhere near Rogue, let's be honest. But it's certainly a fun deck to play with. I really enjoy it. I always have, so I guess I've got a bit of bias there. But I hope you found this useful. If you did and if you enjoyed, I would really appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe. And if you want me to make any deck profiles on any other decks that perhaps other Yu-Gi tubers aren't appreciating enough, then I'm perfectly happy to try and do one. Obviously, if it's something that's complicated, I'll take a week or so. It might take a week, or it might take a couple of days, I don't know, to properly learn it in depth, because when I put out a deck profile, I want to know what I'm doing with the archetype. It's not going to be something just throwing together a deck and be like, yeah, this seems like a good list. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.